Very welcome back to Ireland AM. The time is now 7:42. Now, the infamous RTE payment scandal, it had us all glued in 2023. It was 3 years ago. June 23 is when it kicked off.
Well, now, there's a new book about it, RTE, Saint Scholars and Scandals, and the author is with us this morning, of course, Shane Ross. Shane, good morning.
Morning, Shane.
It's great to have you with us. Listen, how are you? I know you had, obviously, treatment for cancer a little while ago. It's affected your vocal cords, but they are recovering. How is it?
I'm great, actually. My health is good now. Thank you for asking. Yeah, I got cancer, but luckily medical science is able to sort it out.
Yeah.
It didn't quite. What happens is you get chemo and radiotherapy, which is a bit of a bore. And it gets rid of the cancer, which is all that matters. But it does a bit of damage to my vocal cords. They're recovering.
They're recovering.
Yeah,
You're feeling good.
I feel great.
And the voice has improved, and it will.
Yeah.
It's taking time, but it's getting much, much better.
It's getting much better.
Brilliant.
And it'll take a little longer, all right. But thank you for having me on.
Well, you don't need a voice to be writing a book. And my God, does Shane Ross love to write a hefty book. You said this was longer. You had to edit this down. Tell us about Saint Scholars and Scandals, because this isn't just about what happened in June 2023. Like, we've got Marion Finucane on the cover there, we've got Gay Byrne. This is kind of going back to the foundation of RTE, is it?
Yeah, it goes back to the foundation of television in '61. And it was kind of inspired, and the bulk of it was meant to be about the Tubridy issues. And then, obviously, the scandal expanded into all sorts of things happening in RTE. And I found while I was doing it that a lot of the problem that the Tubridy scandal revealed existed for a very, very long time before that. In other words, once the lid was taken off, what happened to Tubridy, you find underneath it the barter accounts, famous barter accounts. The barter accounts led you on to what was happening beneath the surface, which was that there was no corporate governance by the board, and all sorts of terrible things were happening. And, you'd be familiar, and your audience would be familiar, the flip-flops and the Soho Club and all that stuff which came out was as a result of the board not looking under the bonnet, and successive boards not looking under the bonnet. And what I wanted to do was really look under the bonnet and see what was happening. That's what it's about.
And how far back does this go?
Well, the funding problem, which is a real problem, as you know, in this business as well, goes back to 1961. Goes back to the very beginning. There was a row about, and always has been, about how RTE should be funded. Yeah. But the culture, which was a culture of secrecy in RTE, which Tubridy was part of, obviously, because he didn't put his hand up, but the culture of secrecy goes way back to Gay Byrne, because Gay Byrne's salary was a very controversial issue at the time, but it was all secret. Nobody knew what it was.
What do you mean, why was it controversial?
Because it was so high.
Okay.
Because it was so high. I mean, he was getting 540,000 way back, which was a huge amount of money. But he had power in RTE, which comes out in the book.
Now, there's one thing, you mentioned Ryan Tubridy there, and to be fair, I'd say he's a symptom, right? As someone who's in front of, I don't know what the hell is going on above me. I genuinely haven't a notion. So that's one thing. When you're talking about a board, and we're seeing all these scandals, and these are people who are appointed to a board, is there not issues with political oversight? You were a government minister. We've got a minister for communications with kind of going, what are you doing over there and what are you spending that money on?
Yeah.
Because they're taxpayer funded. Is that not an issue?
Of course that's an issue.
Yeah.
And the whole political relationship between RTE and the government goes way back. And it was very tense, and it always was very difficult. The board, who I think are the culprits here, the real culprits here, but the board in 1972 was sacked. And that was like a kind of shadow over RTE for a very long time, because it didn't do what the government wanted it to do, over Section 31 and putting people on the air. And ever since then, there was a very bad habit, which is still going on, but not so badly, of the RTE board, which was the authority at the time. It was appointed by politicians. And as a result of that, they put their cronies on the board. They put people on the board who just did what they were told and took their salaries. And they were rewarded. It was a kind of honours list to a certain extent. And that's continued until this day. And the board in the Tubridy times and recent times was asleep at the wheel. Now, what happened, in fact, there was that the executives were all blamed. I think wrongly so. They were culpable, of course, for certain things, but not for hanging offences.
But who faced accountability? This is the whole thing. I mean, it's 3 years ago. You've mentioned Tubridy over and over and over again, but really he was scapegoated by this whole situation. And actually the board, no one has really been held accountable for it. And Kevin Bakhurst has come in and he's had to deal with the fallout of it all.
Correct.
But realistically,
accountability is incredible, and it's in the book. I don't say too much about it.
But will it change? Like, have they learned from these lessons? Will the new board be held accountable if a similar scandal, if more comes out, if people, they will be held?
I hope so. I think Kevin Bakhurst should be given a chance. I think he was given a set of recommendations, 90 recommendations by Niamh Brennan in her report, saying you've got to do all these things to get it right. Now, he has started. He is trying. And you've got to accept that, because the board was... Do you know who was judging the board? Themselves.
Yeah, of course.
It's very... We've seen what happens when states get away from media. You've got an American model, which isn't good for anyone when it comes to media. You know, it's really important to have things like RT and BBC and this impartiality and something that isn't based on making as much money as possible so that they can have clickbait. What do you think is going on with the future of RTE? What do you think will happen?
I think they made a good start. It was so bad, it couldn't get worse, quite honestly. It was completely out of hand. It was a situation where it was running riot, and you had a Director General who was running riot, and a board that didn't know what was happening. What's going to happen now? They didn't solve the problem of funding in the fudge in 2024. They funked it again. They came up with 725 million, but it was a fudge to get the government, and you put your finger on it, over the general election difficulties. So they funded it that way. So we're going to have a crisis point in 2028 when that particular deal ends. I think they're going to be a leaner RTE, but you know, it's going to be smaller. There's going to be less funding rather than more funding. The licence fee issue is going to have to be resolved, but they're going to have a board of people with the right expertise. They had an audit committee without an auditor. Nobody ever asked the right questions, and they slept at the wheel.
Listen, it's all in this. It's a hefty book. It's a hell of a book. It's the RTE Saints, Scholars and Scandals. Shane Ross, as always, great to have you with us, and continued recovery as well. It's fantastic to hear things are on the right path.
And he said it now, Oireachtas TV 2028. We're all going to be glued to it again. That's what's going to happen. We'll be back with you on Ireland AM in just a few minutes.